Hey, welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Steve, and this is the story of my failure. But not really. You'll see at the end of this video. But we bought this 1989 Puckett Brothers Asphalt Paver, and we did some work to it over the course of months. It's almost been a year. We're now into the fall season. Paving shut down. I've done 2 jobs with this thing, and both jobs it's been a failure on the job. The jobs were financially a success, but this paver was a failure. This video is a little bit longer than normal, but if you stick around to the end, you'll see why I'm calling this a failure. I'll meet you back here, we'll talk about it. This is what I'm working on today. So, I'll try to put a clip in here from when I went and picked this up. So this is a Puckett, it's diesel. I wanted a diesel. It has a little bit of a fuel leak, but it's just a return line. All right, so we're gonna chain this down. We'll get out of here. We had to put it on and then turn it sideways, spin it around, which it slides real easy on the deck. The over width permit for this truck is good for Massachusetts, but because we're in Connecticut, we're a little worried about that because it is 9 feet wide. So we got it chained down, 4 points of contact, independent points. So we should be good to run through this state. We are not wide, and we're ready to roll. My youngest son bought this paver. He was looking for a paver. His background is paving. That's actually where he is right now. He's at work. He does road paving. And he was looking to do some weekend warrior stuff. And I'm looking to pave my jobs with it. So I did buy that little roller. It's a vibratory articulating roller, which means it bends in the middle like a front end loader. And he ended up buying it back off of me. He actually bought it off of me after he bought this. So there's a few things on this that we have to fix. So I had one of these before. This is a Puckett Paver, Puckett Brothers. I think they're out of business now. The last time I had mine in the mid-teens, I sold it. Maybe earlier than that. You could still get parts for them, but now I tried to find out if I could get some parts, and you can't. So I'm like making parts. The guy that he got it off of put this ignition in here, and this is junk already. And he put an ignition in here with a run start ignition. You really just need a push button ignition for this. You know, you shut it off like this. You know, it's old mechanical engine. I don't know if it's a Hotz or a Deutz. I haven't really looked yet. Well, it doesn't matter. No, it's a Lamborghini. Not a Lamborghini, Lamborghini. I'm probably not pronouncing that right, but that's okay. Right now what I'm working on, though, before I squirrel off, that screw to run the screed. You know, you go like this with the screed. That's how you get your thickness. You go down or you go up. That screw was right here, and it was stripped. You can't see it on camera, but in the middle, it rides about this much. That's how much travel it has. And this is really thin here. I did put a straight edge down the side, and you can see how it comes in then at hourglass shapes right here and then back out. If you guys remember my video a while back, like a couple of years ago, about doing that bushing, homemade bushing press, I saved the rods from that, and I saved the nuts. I ground this off right there, which was right there, and then that big nut goes on the end of that plate on the end of the rod. So I also cut the handle off, but then it started raining, and then I gave him those rods from my homemade bushing press. The battery don't belong up there. The guy had it ratchet strapped up there. This needs to get bent back out. I got to get the porta power out, and we got to push it from there because that side's equally bent to this. I think someone lifted this machine with a chain and an excavator, and they bent it. Okay, so what I'm doing now is we were running sand through this to practice because I wanted my son to practice with this, and he got very discouraged, and he walked away, and he said, oh, it's, you know, young guy stuff, you know. He said, oh, this thing's a piece of crap. I should have bought a Lee Boy. And I'm like, you don't have the money, kid. You don't have all kinds of money, hundreds of thousands of dollars to play with here. You don't even know if you want to do this full time or anything, or whatever. So you got a small machine for short money. And he said, well, it's not working right, whatever. And then I started looking at the mat where he was running, and I'm like, I don't think it's you, dude. I said, do me a favor, walk around. I'm gonna walk around, pull the lever for the screw. And then I said to him, it's not you. You didn't do a bad job. Somebody put the auger in backwards on this side. You see how they're both facing the same direction? The blades are both like this. That's wrong. They should be opposite. This one is in backwards. And it's funny because this is the side that he was running. I was on the driver's side with all the levers and everything because I have experience. So I said to him, just learn how to run the screw. I'll drive it, but you need to play with the screw to get your thicknesses and everything. And when he was doing it, he was getting a terrible mat, and it looked like crap, and he was all upset, and he wanted to, you know, just call it quits. And he's like, you know, stupid thing. I'm just going to sell this and get my money back. And then I discovered you weren't doing a bad job. The thing's in backwards. So the whole time I was trying to feed him mix, you know, let's say it was mix, but it was really sand. But the whole time I was trying to feed him mix, and then I look over and I'm like, what are you doing? You're going too thin. He didn't have any. He couldn't get any. So he couldn't keep up. I almost got that nut off. All right. And the washer. All right. That washer's the wrong size. See, this is why I hate when hacks work on stuff. I'm thinking I should have started this up and ran the screed extension all the way out. Then I could have just reached up underneath there. I don't know if this thing will start though. Probably won't. I don't know if I want to jump it, but I probably should. Because, well, let's think about it. After I get that out, I got to put it back in. So, yeah, let me go get the jump thing. All right, so we'll let that sit for a little bit. There's no charging system. I'm not sure why, or if something's missing. I have to do a little more research. Usually you're going to go to a job, you're going to start the thing up, and then it's going to run for a while. My plan is to put a new battery in it and a solar panel, maybe here or maybe over here or something, that charges. I already ordered it, and that way we can just charge the battery all the time. It's a trickle charger, so it'll just keep the battery charged all the time. Then it takes a little bit of juice, starts this thing up, and then the whole time you're out there running it, you know, if I put it somewhere, I thought about putting it here, might put it here. All right, I thought it was kind of odd that this doesn't have a charging system, so I went poking around and I discovered it does. So these guys that had this machine are knuckleheads. See that wire in there? They cut those wires, and those wires go to this, which is a generator of some sort. It's old school. It's got a bunch of wires and a solenoid underneath. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to fix that right away. I gotta look into it. Let's see if this thing will work. Come on, baby. Don't do that. See, there's no glow plugs in these old machines. It's liquid cooled, air cooled. You just gotta keep. Almost. See, it's going the wrong way. It's pulling mix this way. So, you could run it in reverse, but that's just stupid. It don't belong that way. I'm gonna take a test light at some point, and I'm gonna touch those wires. I want to see if there's juice coming out of there. If that generator's working, I'll just take this air cleaner off, undo that bolt and that clamp, and then tap into there and run it over to the box that I got coming. And I'll put the charging system, the new on and off switch and everything in the new ignition in the box. Don't really know much about this engine. Gotta learn as we go. I should go get my ratchet, my right angle electric ratchet, and just zip this off. But I probably won't, because I'm stupid. And stupid people do things the hard way. Fast forward this part. Holy boringness. Well, there we go. Now I just gotta get the washers off. Phone keeps ringing. All right. All right. That side's undone, but now I think I gotta take that bolt out of that one, which that ought to be fun trying to get that out. Still got some tar on it. Yeah. Got a lot of asphalt tar on it. I think that's why the wrench ain't fitting, to be honest with you. So that's what, 19 millimeter. All right. Probably gotta start this up and rotate this auger a little bit though. Because there's a nut on the other side. I can see it's turning. I don't know, it's getting loose though. All right, I'll have to rotate it a little bit. I'll tell you, once she's warm, she starts right up, no problem. All right. I went and found the best 19 I could find. Because I really didn't feel like looking, to be honest with you. It's so cold out, I just don't care. I'll go back to Florida. Just barely. Okay. One-handed. See that square edge on both sides? Usually, a machine this old would have probably down here, and it would be like a knife, come to a real point. However, I was not too thrilled when I discovered these were backwards, but it's not the end of the world. It's got some tar on it. This should slide on easy now. Yep. There we go. It's probably hot though. It's not a nylon nut. They wouldn't put a nylon nut on here because the asphalt would melt the nylon. So I don't know. I think that's okay with a little bit of play in it, to be honest with you. I mean, if I had a machine shop or something, which I don't, I probably could sleeve it, make a sleeve so it's tight, but it spins in that pillow block bearing so good, I don't really see a point in making it tight. I want to do some exploring into that hydraulic motor and see if it's like a real big problem to pull it out so I could have it resealed, because I don't like to have leaks, because leaks are not good for many reasons, but when you're paving, you don't want diesel leaks, you don't want hydraulic leaks, because it ruins the finish of the mat. Alright, I was just doing a little bit of research on this engine. Apparently I can still get parts for it. It's an Italian engine, Lamborghini. I know I've worked at a company that we had a couple of these in the Lee-Boy rollers, so I'm tempted to call the local Lee-Boy dealer and see if I can get parts from them. Also, I discovered there's a shroud that's missing here, an air shroud. It sucks air through this fan here, goes through this alternator generator, and then blows through here, and then blows it through the fins, and then, you know, out this way through the fins. So what I'm thinking is that we need to get that shroud back on here so that this thing's cooling system works better. Also, there's a voltage regulator, so I gotta make sure. I might have to get a mirror to look down under there, but I gotta get a voltage regulator. I mean, I gotta make sure the voltage regulator's still there. And then I kind of want to test these wires. Alright, I stopped messing around with research and messing with the electric system. I'll deal with that later, because realistically the Paver works fine even without it. But I got the hydraulic pump out that was leaking, that turned it, and here's all the parts. I didn't film that because my camera was dead, but there's two hydraulic hoses that come down, you see them? And then that thing bolts right there. Brought that to the hydraulic shop. This guy I've been dealing with for like 20 years. And also, I brought that to him. I brought him this right here. He said this is a high pressure filter. There's supposed to be, it's a high pressure filter system. That's why this is cast iron housing. And I left that with him. He's going to get me the filter for inside, because they probably couldn't find one, so they just put that back on, so it's empty. Also, we got to get some lines fixed. I also took pictures of these right there, these valves. He's gonna get me all the parts to put that back. I'm gonna get a rubber boot to go over this and the other new one. They work fine, but I want them to work perfect. What I'm working on right now is I just cut the rod for the screed screw. So it's getting kind of dark out. I don't know how much more work I'm going to do because I did have to work today. So that is that one. And I was just talking to my boy. He just got home. He's taking a shower. He worked late paving. This is bent. I don't know if you can see how bent it is, but it kind of comes up and then curves. So I asked him, I said, I got another rod. Do you want me to change this one too? I have a funny feeling that if that one was worn out, chances are this one's probably right behind it. So he said, absolutely, Dad, whatever you think. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and cut another one. I probably won't take this apart right now, but let's go in my shop of horrors. In the back, pull out the other rod, get this set up, and let's cut this one. 22.5 inches for both of them. This collar goes on first with the shiny side up because that's where I cut the weld. So put that on first. Then this bearing, and till the end is flush, like so. This collar drops down, and then I gotta weld this collar, and then after that's welded, I tighten, snug up that nut. This piece has to go on before the handle. So, okay, it's a new day. I got that welded on, that screw. I got it sitting down there. I haven't tightened the bolts yet. Also, I drilled out the broken grease fitting that was in there, and I retapped it and put a new one. And unlike this side over here, where they put it on the outside, I'm thinking something hit it and broke it. I spun this thing around and I put it on the inside, so maybe that'll protect it now. The only thing I got to do, I got that sitting down there. I tightened up the big nut on the bottom. It actually took me this pipe wrench and the big adjustable to get that to like really tighten into that collar that I welded on there. So what I gotta do is I gotta weld on the handle now, and it's been a couple days, so it's kind of rusty, but I also gotta get it perfectly straight. So I gotta get some magnets or something. I don't want it this way, that way. Probably just gonna have to take a whole bunch of tack welds to get it straight. Also, I welded that nut. It spins nice and freely, so the nut is not jammed. So we don't have to worry about that. I just got to clean this up and weld that on. Also, the guy that I brought at the hydraulic shop, the motor for the auger, I don't know, dude got bird flu or some shit, I don't know. But he's been out sick every day, and every day I call and they're like, yeah, we don't know. I'm like, is there anyone else that can help me? They're like, nah, like that's the guy. I'm like, great, let me know when he's in. So we're waiting on that. So while we're waiting on that, I'm doing other stuff. I don't know if you can see that little nub, but I want to leave that little nub to hold me off the screw a little bit so I can fill in there, get a good weld in there. Alright, I'm going to keep the fire extinguisher here because, as you can see, she's a dirty girl, or boy, whatever you want to call it, or it, who knows anymore. And it leaks fuel. I got to get a new brass shim for the banjo fitting right here for the those are injector pumps. So keep that ready. Thought I had 2 of these, but I only have 1, so I gotta really make it work. I gotta clean it off though. Because it's a magnet, it picks up everything. Shavings, grinding dust, everything. Getting a tan. Okay. Alright, I just got home. It is May 1st. It's been raining, so it's been like a couple weeks since I last worked on this. I finished both of the screws. Got that one done, got this one done. Painted them black. Yeah. And my son, on his way home from work, my son that works for the paving company, see this one here, that one there, I'll show you real quick. That one was really bent. Look at that. Ow. Look at that thing. Look at the bend in that. So, and that thing, it won't even roll. But on his way home, he went, let me see here, and he got the hydraulic hoses made up. And I don't know if it's because of the tariffs or what, but this is $600 for 3 hoses. I got the hydraulic motor back. They rebuilt this. So they put a new plate on the front, brand new face plate, because it was cracked and the seal was all messed up, and then they cleaned it up. Pretty nice. We're not going to paint it though, because, well, it's going to get covered in tar and diesel, so that'll preserve it. Then I had them order handles. So in these bags are the handles with all of the rubber boots. Come on, get out of there. One-handed here. One-handed, Steve. Come on. Anyways, the rubber boots that go on them, like so. So we will have those. I also got this high pressure thingy housing back. And then he was saying there's supposed to be a spring in there. I'm waiting on the other filter. He didn't have it. But I told him, don't worry. He didn't have the spring either. But here's the ball that goes on the top of the handle. So that screws on the top. And he said he can still get me all the parts for this paver, which is awesome. Probably just use a crescent wrench for this, or an adjustable, whatever you want to call it. That's not really the correct way to use it, but yeah. Compression fittings. There we go. All right. I'm assuming we gotta lay these out. Find the short one. Shorter of the two. Well, there's 2 for what we're doing. There's 3 total because he had the longest one duplicated for a spare. So Coast Guard. Match up the two long ones. Okay, so let's feed the short one in there first. Okay, so in would be the long side. Alright, so in is push. And that one's dripping, the one on the inside one. Which is convenient because the inner one pulls it in and the outer one pulls it out. So if you were to come over here, the longer one would put fluid on this side of the plunger and push the cylinder back. So the long one needs to go inside there and outside here. Okay. I'm just gonna get this started in the back. Then I'm gonna get a wrench to fit. But we gotta snake it through there. Okay, try not to get dirt in the end of it. Probably should have put a glove on the end. But back through here. All right. Why is it so long? Seems longer than it needs to be, but oh, I know why. Because the screed has to go up and down. Probably should snake it under there. Keep it tight to the other ones. Then run it up like this. Okay, yeah. Run it up like this. Zip tie. Big zip tie to all of them. Well, that's what we'll do. The screed goes up and down. And then put that on the opposite side. That's an exhaust port. We're not going to use that. Like I said, the older guy. I'm just going to call him the guy. It doesn't matter. But the guy that runs the paver that my son has been taking advice from said that don't use the exhaust screed because it burns a hole through there. He just heats up the screed with a hawk heater. He gets it good and hot, runs out of, then sprays it with some diesel or whatever, and then runs a pass out. And then he said, after your next pass, when you pull it out of the mix, heat it up again. Alright, happy with that. There's a bracket that goes in there with some bolts that was holding it, so I'm thinking we might just zip tie them. Because that bracket's kind of sharp. Probably gonna unbolt that. Somebody cut it. Wish I had some fire hose. I'd put like a fire hose sleeve over right here. I might put something over it and then zip tie it. Might as well put this one on while I'm here. I went on Marketplace and I found a Kubota engine. I think after the shop's done, I'm gonna swap this engine over for like a Kubota, or like they had like a little Yanmar also. Tighten this up while we're here. Hold it so the green is down. That's snug. So the inside one, I'm just getting little turn, flip, little turn, flip, little turn, flip. Alright, so now, okay, tight. Oh, this is gonna be fun. I don't know what he did with the bolts. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So they go like this. And I gotta get a bolt to go through the both of them like that into there, and then there's another set that goes over here into that hole. Okay, gotta find some bolts. This is the last one. I put all the other ones on. This one's tightened up and bolted, that one's tightened up and bolted. The yellow should have went on top, but it don't matter. I'm going to repaint the whole screed black, because yellow screed just looks dirty. And my boy's on the other side scraping and cleaning some stuff, because I got to put that hydraulic motor and the auger back in. Let me finish tightening this one down here, and then we'll move on to something else. Alright, so I got to clean the threads on these bolts that go in the motor. We got to put the motor back in. Probably just going to hit it with some more WD and the wire brush. There we go. He's cleaning the mix off. So, let me climb up in here. These look really clean on the inside. Chubb, can you do me a favor? Can you grab me that WD-40 though?
Yeah.
Because WD-40 eats tar. When I was hauling asphalt, we used to use it to clean the tack off of our aluminum rims. That's what this guy told me one time. We got tack, we were paving and got tack all over my aluminum rims. He's like, put some WD-40 on it. So, yeah. Alright, nice and flat on the plate. Yeah, that plate is fat enough that I don't have to put a washer on it. This didn't have lock washers anyways. Once the tar gets in here, the asphalt, these bolts don't really back off. I gotta wiggle bottom. It's cool though, he gave me a new keyway. I always go to the same hydraulic shop I've been going to since I was like 19, 20. Deal with the same guy. I actually built a screening machine years ago out of that guy's shop. Went in there, got all of the stuff. Hydraulic motors, pumps, filters, all kinds of stuff, bearings. Now I just got to get that 11/16 wrench, tighten that hydraulic lines up. Once I get those two hydraulic lines up, we'll get the auger in here. Nice. Alright. Oh, I gotta put the plate on here. We can do that after. Okay, I gotta clean this up. It's covered in dirt. But this has a keyway in it. And there's a set screw that wasn't set. and it goes over there first, and then the auger slides over this end, and then you put the bolt through the auger. But I can feel all the grit and stuff, so I want to clean it up. Okay, I just used that scraper that he was using. I couldn't find the razor blade. I think I'm all out. However, that nice new keyway, and put this on this way because this is the correct way. All right. I don't know how far that goes in. I'm just gonna lightly set this set screw for now, just to hold it on there, and then I'll adjust it once I get the auger put on. At least this will hold it from falling off. I think this is supposed to go in the middle of the keyway. Alright, so the problem is, or was, they're supposed to both point inward, and I don't think I got it right. Yeah, it's backwards. So you see how the fins are both pointed this way? When you pull it, you want the mix to go out. Well, this one, when you pull it, it won't. It's backwards. See how they're both facing the same direction? It's supposed to be opposites. Now, no. Now they're both facing the same way. Yeah. Nope. I had it right the first time. Wait a minute. Huh? I'm confused. Did this guy buy two lefts? I was just looking online. They're definitely, like, supposed to face opposites. Like, this fin is supposed to go point this way, and that fin's supposed to point that way. I'm wondering if they make a left and a right. Alright, it's getting kind of late. We'll just pack this up.